Hey, I want to know something real quick. Is it ever okay not to tell your spouse something? Now, what if you're not lying, but you're just protecting them because you know they won't handle it well if you tell them? That's what we're talking about today. The thin line between deception and protection, and whether full honesty is actually wise. So don't go nowhere. We're about to get into it. What's up, good people? Welcome back to Man Talk Mondays. I am Derek, the thought engineer, here with my man, comedian John Yogi. How you feeling, bro?
Man, I am good. Ready to get into this. The devil busy.
I was just finna say that.
Do you want me to whoop you? He is busy today.
You get on out of here, devil.
He is busy today, sir. I'm ready to get into this one.
Ready to get into this one.
The enemy don't want this one, brother.
Oh man, we about to shake the devil off today, man. All right, everybody. Let me just remind everybody real quick. This is Man Talk Mondays. It's an open forum where we give you the rational realities of relationships, but we coming from a man's perspective. Keep in mind, this conversation is not just for men. We want everybody to join in. How you do this? Get in them comments. We can see your comments, right? So that's how you talk to us, but we want to hear from you, especially tonight, right? So what we talking about tonight, we talking about, do you really have to tell your spouse everything?
Not everything.
Do you?
You know, I was thinking about this on the way over here, and I was thinking, if I had to tell my wife everything, I would fake like I had fainted. And
she's sitting over there looking like you're looking.
You better
look
get
at him.
You
Yeah,
better get up.
Yeah, we about to jump into this. So now, what sparked the whole conversation? I came across a video. Dave Ramsey. Everybody know Dave Ramsey, the get out of debt guru, who has helped a whole lot of people change their lives to get out of consumer debt, right? And so he has a podcast where people call in and kind of give their financial situation. He gives advice. Well, one guy called in, very interesting situation. He has been hiding the financial situation of the house for 5 years.
Oh my goodness.
For 5 years.
He gonna get
right?
a whooping. He getting
Sounds bad. Sounds bad, but I'll let you be the judge of it. But before we get into this, we got a brother coming on to have this conversation with us, right? We got Mr. Tony. Mr. Tony is coming on with us.
Big Tony, what they call him.
Big Tony, what they call him. He coming on. Good brother. Tony got to let us know. How long Tony been married?
Tony said he been married. Was it 30 years?
I know he said like 30.
Was it 30 years?
How long you been married, Tony?
30 years, August 9th.
30 years, August 9th. Okay. All right. So Tony's going to join us for this conversation. We're going to show this clip. We're going to kind of dive into the clip and kind of talk about it a little bit. Right. So let's get to this clip real quick like.
Did I ever disclose to my wife that we are secretly worth millions of dollars?
Are you from another culture?
I was born in Korea, but I was raised in San Jose.
So you were raised by Korean parents that immigrated here?
That is correct.
Okay.
And
because in Anglo-America, what you just described, as you probably realize, is pretty whacked. That's why I immediately said, is there some kind of a cultural reason for this? Because it's very unusual.
I work. My wife is a stay-at-home wife because that's just how we chose to. The thing is, I'm the saver and she's the spender. I have been working very hard, working my job in my business to grow to where we are. And I am not sure whether I should ever disclose our net worth to her because I do not know how she's going to react.
Yeah. Well,
all right. So as you can hear, this man has amassed a little bit of wealth over 5 years,
Just a little bit.
saving and being responsible financially with their money to the tune of multiple millions of dollars. They have multiple millions of dollars, and he has not told his wife that they are financially in a great place. And so he calls Dave to get Dave's advice, because Dave is the financial guru and all this type of stuff. And he said, I'm the saver, my wife's the spender. I'm the saver, my wife's the spender. Now, Dave immediately goes to, he assumes, oh, you must be from a different culture, right? He says, because in the Anglo-American culture, we don't roll like that. So does culture ever excuse deception? Does your background, does that ever give you an excuse to deceive anybody?
I don't think it does. I'm not certain, because I only deal with the Anglo-Saxon. I don't think it does. I don't think
you're all around here in Afro land. We do some deceiving.
All I can think about it is his wife saying, when she found out, saying, "Hey, you wouldn't let me get them shoes I wanted." That's all I can think about it. You thought we had the money.
Mr. Tony, what you think about that? What you think about that cultural thing Dave threw out there about the whole deception part?
Well, I don't think it's a cultural thing. I think that personally, he didn't do anything deceptive. He did exactly what. Don't take this the wrong way, but what women have done for a long time. They have what's called mad money.
Mad money, okay.
Which is money they hide in case of emergency.
Okay. Has that been kind of a cultural thing for black people though? Big Mama used to.
Big Mama
did it, but so did Miss Becky.
You say Miss Becky did it too. So all right. So you say Dave might be a little bit off about it.
You know what's funny? Because I like to think about is my wife. I can see my wife having $1 million and not telling me about it, because she know if she got $1 million, if I know she got $1 million,
we balling.
What? The Cadillac gonna be from one end?
Yes. I can see my wife having it too.
Oh yeah.
Not telling me.
So I mean, because the guy calls in and you can hear it seems like a real concern that he has. And Dave said, "Oh, so I picked up on you must be from a different culture, because it shouldn't be okay that you're doing this." Because Dave immediately, he goes in and he's not cool with the husband keeping the fact that they have millions of dollars, keeping that from his wife. He's not cool with it.
Well, and one of the things too, and I think David's not saying this though, the flex. What man is going to have the opportunity to flex that he's a millionaire with his wife and family, and they don't use it? That is not a black thing. That listen, if black people got $100 over, they're gonna be in every club in the city. We gonna know they got money.
Man,
I'm sure that's why Dave says this. Are you a white guy basically? Because that's you're not flexing.
Okay. So
do you think it's the flex part, or do you think that is the fact that he knows his wife?
That's the part I'm not.
Because I was just about to say, what do you think this guy's fear really is? What's the real fear here?
Well, he already can't get her to really save money like he wants to anyway. And when she found out that there's an excess, it's really that there's not excess, but there's an excess. It's really gonna be difficult for her not to get that pair of shoes and not to get that purse, because most of the time we trying to keep up with somebody.
Okay. All right. So you feel like there's a.
Y'all know I ain't got good sense. Now I'm gonna say something.
What you got?
So the first thing is he on the radio, therefore she might know who his voice is. He might have told on himself. But the B portion of that is that I don't think Dave is being fair.
Why do you don't think he's being fair?
Well, here's the thing. Dave is a multimillionaire.
Yes.
And his wife knows he's a multimillionaire. So he feels compelled that everybody should know that they got money. But he doesn't know the relationship this guy is in.
Yeah.
For him telling something is against not necessarily his culture, but against him thinking that maybe I got it, but she gonna spend it.
Yeah, I felt like it was kind of unfair for Dave to just kind of write him off like that without actually hearing him out, because that fear is coming from somewhere. It's something he's seen about how she behaves financially,
how she moves,
that spooked him to the point to where, number one, he didn't tell her that all this time he been killing it.
See, this is what I love about D. See, D's been my partner now for 4 or 5 years, and D normally don't take it easy on the women. But today he is tipping around. He took his shoes off and he is tipping around. He can't trust her. He can't trust her, and he want to keep the money. So I can't tell her because I want to keep the money because she gonna lose her mind. She is going to lose her mind, and again, if I want to keep it, I can't say nothing to her about it.
Okay. All right.
Listen, we all know our spouses, whether or not we want to admit to the extent of what we know about them or not. We all know them, and we know what their hangups is.
Okay. All right.
But in knowing their hangups, let's be real honest. If each one of us had the money and our wives knew that we had the money, would it be them that would be spending it, or would it be us?
See, don't ask me that. You're not gonna ask me that. I'm saying right now, you're not.
I know it would be me. I know it would be me, balling. It would be me.
All right, because here's the thing. Here's the thing. You're not gonna get to multi-millions unless you done got some discipline in place.
Yeah, somewhere.
And he got all the discipline, and she off the chain.
Yeah, she got to be off the chain. If he not telling her, it's almost like he had to sneak and do it.
Like she know he has a business, but she doesn't know how well the business is doing.
Yes. Okay. I would agree.
He also paying everything off too.
And
so it's no what we call debt issues in this relationship.
Right. And I was saying, if he's taking care of everything, if she has no worries, if about, you know what I'm saying, bills and debt, and if she has no worries, is it a big deal?
Well, it's not a big deal, but it could definitely be a big deal. It's not because my thing is this, and as we're talking about it, it just makes me wonder what exactly can we trust our spouses with, and vice versa.
Wow.
Is there an amount of money? Is there what is the no? What do you say no to? I'm not saying anything about, or should there be anything?
Wow. All right, let's go back and finish up the video real quick. We're gonna go. All right, when we get, Dr. Selena says, if you don't tell, I won't. Men can make the rules and we will play the game. Oh, wow.
That's what I laughed at.
So she like, so that's what we doing? We keeping stuff? I'll show you how we get down. Let's go back to the video. We're gonna finish up the clip real quick. Let's finish up the clip.
She's probably going to react poorly because she's married to a guy who's deceived her. Don't you think?
To be honest, the thing is, she and I have very different perspectives when it comes to finances. I got that. A saver, like I'm a minimalist. She's very much a free spirit.
I know, but that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the fact that you've been married to her for 5 years and sleeping with her for 5 years. She didn't know you got any money. That's deception.
Is it?
Should I ever
All right.
Is that really deception?
All right. So Dave said, you're wrong.
Oh, man.
Dave says you're wrong. He called it flat out deception. Dave said it's flat out deception for you to have all this money that you do millions of dollars and you not let your wife know because of whatever reason. He said ain't no reason why you shouldn't tell your wife.
See, I understand what Dave's saying. I don't necessarily agree that it's deception. I think the man, the husband, has to do necessarily, and don't be looking at me like that from behind this camera. I just think it's necessary. I think you do what you have to do sometimes. I think, to be honest, we can't tell everything. We can't show our hand all the time because women be asking too many questions and they want to know why this and why that.
Wow.
We don't. And should we have to explain everything? See, if you tell everything, you got to explain everything. And no.
But is that a bad thing? Is explaining everything really a bad thing?
I don't think so, but I do think so.
You say you don't think so, but you do think so.
Yes.
Well, break that down. Break that down for me real quick.
So I've been married, like I said, I've been married 30 years.
Okay.
30 years, 3 things that my wife could say that I have never did. I've never had my phone to a point where it was locked.
Okay.
You can look at my phone whenever. You can look at my bank account whenever. You can look at whatever you want to look at whenever. But, and here's the but, and I've always asked myself that question: if the wealth was in a situation where it was enormous, would I still be as open with the accounts? I think I would. I say that now, but the first time she tell me no, it might change. You get what I'm saying?
I get you. Let me get Dr. Selena's comment. She says, oh, okay. So now let's play. All right. So she not cool with this whole, keeping it. Now let me say this. A few of y'all just joined in. We're talking about a situation that happened from a clip from Dave Ramsey's podcast where a guy calls in, and for 5 years he's been hiding the fact that he and his wife are multimillionaires, but he's not telling her because she real free with the spending, right? And so we're just kind of talking about this whole scenario, this whole situation. Now, one thing I know about Dave Ramsey, Dave Ramsey went broke. If you know his story, Dave Ramsey went completely broke, and he had to get it out the mud with his wife. They had to get out the mud together. So he had to come together with her, and they had to come to an agreement on finances and all of this in order for them to move out of that space of debt and all this. So I get where Dave is coming from, but I think Dave is taking his situation and just kind of projecting it to everybody and say, oh, you ain't telling your wife everything about your finances. You deceiving her. But we talking about what's the thin line between deception and protection? Are you really protecting them by not telling them, or are you being deceitful?
I think you protecting them. Sometimes you got to protect them from themselves.
From themselves.
Go on in the room and lock the door. Go to that, lock the door. Don't you come out. I'm protecting you from you.
Let me get Cheryl. Cheryl says, you know your partner. If they think you're deceiving them, there's a problem. My husband knows up front he can't know if we are rolling because I know how he is. He is a spender and I'm a saver. We had this conversation. Ah, okay. So I guess Cheryl says, I can't tell him. But is he being protective or is he being deceptive?
She don't have to tell me we're a millionaire. She don't have to tell me that.
Okay.
But she can tell me when we go to Best Buy and I'm looking at the screen and them TVs and I'm like this, she can say, you can get one if you want. That's how she gotta do.
That's how she gotta do it.
Do. When we go,
so you ain't gonna ask.
I don't have to have a million.
How we able to?
No, I ain't gonna ask no.
Because as far as I know, we can't. So how you gonna tell me?
I am worse than a woman. You ain't gotta tell me nothing. You have to tell me nothing. I am worse than a woman.
Dr. Lita says we'll protect as well. Does it go both ways? Because we're talking about this guy, not telling his wife, but does this thing go both ways? We talked about how Big Mama used to kind of put some money away and wouldn't tell You know,
but Big Mama was trying to put away electric money. He said electric money. Big Mama wasn't putting away. Big Mama was Tony. Was Big Mama putting away electric money? Was Big Mama putting away house note money? Big Mama was putting away a little something for a rainy day. She wasn't putting away millions.
Well, I'm a little bit different because I had two grandmothers, and they both lived to be 94 years old.
Oh wow.
The one grandmother, she put away money for bills.
Okay.
The other one, she put money away for herself.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So, but in retrospect, neither one of them were deceptive. And Dave Ramsey uses the word deceptive. I think that word is used out of context. And the reason I say that is because is it really deceiving if she doesn't know that you got it? Or is it a lie that you're telling her that you don't have it? Because if you giving her everything she wants, is that a lie?
And see, I think that's that gray area to where it really depends on who's looking at the situation. Think about her, right? She, like John say, as long as I can just get what I want, I'm not even asking questions.
I don't even want to know.
Right? Say some big thing comes along and he knows they can do it, but if he tells her, I don't know, I'm gonna have to see him. If he goes that route instead of saying, well, let's make it happen.
But now
is that deceptive?
Like the only but like you're saying though, the only caveat is if he's not allowing her to do stuff. If her friends are taking trips and everybody going and they at home and not doing nothing, they got this bootleg house with 2 doors and the front is the back door and the back is the front. If it's like that, then she gonna feel some kind of way like, hey man, we ain't have to be living like this. Now that's deception.
Okay,
that's a lie. That ain't deception. There's a difference.
Okay, so let's take a step back. Let's take it here. Let me get Cheryl real good. Cheryl says, "Oh, he lets me know what he wants, and then he gets it." All right. Let's take it here. Let's take it here. Could he be holding back on experiencing a better life because he's so afraid to tell her that he got the money and can't even enjoy it?
Right.
See, that's one of the things, and that's real though. That's you.
Oh, because she gonna tell him how to party. Oh, she can tell him how to party. but don't you need that though? Sometimes
you do. See, this is the thing. Where do you sprinkle discipline in that? And see, that's the caveat, because where you think you sprinkling that, she don't think we should sprinkle it right there. How do you remain the one once you tell her about the money? How do you keep discipline in force once she knows about the money?
Okay. All right. So, which brings up another point. So let's say he tells her and she start coming up, oh, let's do this. Oh, let's do that. And he says, all right, this is what we're going to do. We're going to set aside X amount of dollars for all that stuff. If it ain't in there, we can't do it. Is that control or is that being wise?
That's being wise.
I think it's wise, but I think in the eyes of the person that you're doing it to, it may be considered control, because everybody has to agree with it. And the funny thing about money, man, and I hate to do this, but it just depends on the spirit of the person that you're dealing with. Mm-hmm. Because the spirit that money has on it, oh geez, you better be praying every day. Because the spirit attached to it, man, and you especially when you know you can do, because one thing about the flesh, man, it's always gonna be a new car, a trip. It's always gonna be something else you can go spend it on. What is gonna wrangle that in to make you say, no, we good? Contentment. Because we talked about that a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, we talked about contentment.
You can't find contentment, especially when you got an unlimited checkbook.
Now, how much money would a person need to insulate themselves from a person who spends ridiculously? How much money would you need to insulate? What I mean, their spending does not, deplete it to the point to where you're like, you get scared.
How much money?
How much money would you have to have to live with a person who spends crazy? And people in your listening, you can chime into. How much money would you have to have?
You gotta have at least $5
million.
Gotta have at least $5 million.
$5 million?
You don't think that's enough?
I don't know. That's about personally.
You don't think that's enough?
So we trying to see. You know what I'm saying? Because we got people. Listen, millions of dollars is a lot to some people, but to some people they make that in a day.
Tony said, "What is Tony? How much you say, Tony?"
Well, I was sitting here reflecting on a conversation that I heard the other day. Steph Curry said that he gives his wife $100,000 a month to run the household.
To run the household, okay, all right.
To run the household,
okay.
Now, her reaction to that comment was that although I have $100,000, that don't necessarily mean I'm gonna spend $100,000.
Okay, because see, I give my wife $100,000, take a zero away though, to run the house. That don't mean
divide by 5.
Divided by 10.
Okay, but like I said, if she doesn't spend that, then
it's hers. He said it's hers. It's hers to do whatever. So what I'm getting at is that once again, here goes that money that goes into that grandma savings. So let's say it don't take $100,000 to run the house because he paying the house note, he paying on everything. That's
everything paid. Yeah.
Let's say it takes 50 or 75.
Let's say it take $10,000. Then that puts you in a place where in a year you got $1.2 million in a
I was just gonna say that's 1.2 million. Now, granted, their house is huge. You got all types of expenses. You probably got groundskeepers, you probably got cooks, you probably got cleaning staff and all this type of stuff. So yeah, but 1.2 million, that's a lot of money. But for him, if it's already gone, then
I don't have to worry about it.
I don't have to worry about it because I already counted it as gone, right?
$100,000 is a lot of money.
Yes, it is.
A month.
Yeah,
a month. That's a lot of that's a lot of money. A month, yes, that's a lot. You can
pay a staff.
That's a lot of money.
You could pay more than a staff. You could pay a company.
Yeah.
$1.2 million.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So let's take a step back from the video a little bit from finances. Have you ever kept something from your wife that you thought, it was for her own good?
So
Absolutely.
one time somebody had attached this girl on my Facebook page.
Okay.
And she was bending over this counter thing.
Oh no.
And my phone was blowing up. John, you got this girl got her butt on your page. I wanted to keep that from sure.
Oh.
But I ain't know how. And so I called her.
You called her.
I called and say, listen, against my better judgment, I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna tell you about this.
Okay.
But I want you to know I didn't have nothing to do with this. She said, what is it? I said, somebody done tagged my page. On, somebody done tagged my 5 followers on
the devil.
What's busy? Here it is. I'm riding to work, riding my own business, and my phone is blowing up. I'm like, what in the world? And if I had it, and I'll honestly, if I had a chance to take it off, I wouldn't have said nothing to her. Because she didn't need to know that. She didn't even know how busy the devil was. She didn't need to know that. But I had to tell her because I didn't know how to do it.
You know, I take it down. So you need her assistance.
Take this down.
I didn't have
what happened was
I didn't have to tell mine. My wife found out when she walked into the health club. People caught her at the face and said, this woman was on the radio begging and pleading for Tony to come back home.
What?
Yes.
Big Tony, what they call him.
Big Tony, what they call him. Okay.
I was like, pray for me because I've been a couple places where I've been like, oh God, don't let this come out. Please, Lord, don't. I was at a wedding and I was like, Lord, I pray that don't nobody see me at this wedding and know me from my past.
Tony, you sound like you used to turn up a little bit when you was
just
back in the day. You used to turn up. You used to turn up a little bit.
It was like that. It was bad. So, but I'm getting at what I'm getting at is that sometimes it's better to just get it out and open before it come out.
You beat them to the punch before the thing comes out. Let me beat it to the punch, because if they found out in a roundabout way and not directly from me, then that's gonna be a bigger issue.
Let's put it this way: when I got married, I told my wife, I said, I don't have no kid, I don't have none of that. I said, but. It's gonna happen in the next 10 years, we'll deal with it. But I don't know none of kids, don't know none of that.
You know, that's funny. I was talking to my wife and my daughter, and my daughter mentioned, she said, I want to say she said something like, oh, we was doing it. I was joking about ancestry because they always all in my business with my kid.
Oh, yeah.
And my daughter said something like, what do you act like you worried that somebody gonna pop up as if like a child or something.
Oh,
because when I was in Japan, I was. It ain't even. I don't even want to talk about it.
You gotta let John on.
I don't even want to talk about it. Like I said, I don't want to talk about it.
Can you see?
Oh my God!
Can you see?
Oh my God! It surprised me.
A little Asian judge.
Oh my God! It surprised me when my daughter said it. I was like, "Girl, what are you doing?"
Right.
Hey,
but see, that's the good part about getting ahead of the game and putting it out there in front, because you ain't got to worry about it coming out. You know, they know. You know, you was this way before.
Why is it so hard, Tony, for us at the beginning of relationships to tell the truth about some stuff like that? Why do we keep it? Why do we keep it, Tony? Why do we keep that to ourselves?
I plead the fifth due to it might incriminate me.
But because we worry about the person's perception of us, we so worried about losing that person at that particular time, and really the losing them is really, it could be about them to a certain degree, but at some point it's about the social pressure about what people gonna say. Because people gonna ask, ain't you still with so-and-so? What happened? Y'all ain't together no more. I noticed your Facebook status changed to from in a relationship to single.
Because they be in it.
Everybody gonna be in your business. So we try to save face doing that. But it's amazing how we don't take that into consideration when we doing stuff. Like, you know what? I'm gonna have to tell somebody about this at some point in time. So I might need to chill right now. That's just not how we approach it. Right.
That's a good point.
So it's protecting your spouse from stress. Is that the same as deception?
No,
that's consideration. You need to be applauded for that.
Right.
That's consideration.
Right.
Applauded. Applaud. I know I say applaud. I said applauded.
They be on you, man. They be on you.
Oh, right.
They be on you.
Applaud. You need to be applauded. You're looking out for her.
Okay.
And her well-being.
So, because what if your spouse has shown you that they can't handle certain news well? Does it mean that you don't tell them, or do you just say, I know she probably ain't gonna handle this well, he probably gonna handle, but I got to tell him anyway? But
the crazy thing about it, as much as I'm all for not saying something, it's just amazing to me how that stuff has a way of coming out. No matter how you bury that stuff down, no matter how you try to bury your past, stuff that we run from, it seems like it just keeps coming. It keeps following us. I never forget, we was at my wife had told a friend of hers at the time something years ago, and she decides that she was gonna bring it up to me some years back. I just know I never forget what the look on my wife's face, like she had seen the ghost when the girl was in there saying, "Oh yeah, sure, I remember when you said this." And the look on my wife's face would let me know how serious it was to her. The look on my face, like she's seen the ghost, like, hey, and we was newly to the faith at the time. So,
okay.
That didn't work out. That didn't work good.
Oh man,
that Christ hadn't baked all the way in yet. No, brother, no, yeah.
The good came out.
Yes. Oh man, she was hot, brother. She was hot.
But now, I guess the question I want to ask is it easier not to talk about it than to disclose the past?
See, the problem with that, Tony, is it is easier and it gets easier. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because now we don't talk about anything that needs to be talked about because we've become accustomed to not talking about those type of things. And when you look up, we're not talking about none of importance. Everything is fluff. One thing, and it's funny, and Shelby married 34 years. 34?
Yeah, you 34.
After 30, it's everything. We married 34 years, and we have to make a point to make sure we talk about everything. It ain't nothing that we can take for granted and say, we don't need to talk about that. No, we have to talk about everything. Hey, listen, this, and this. What? Yeah, really? Yeah, because we take for granted. And again, it's easier and it gets easier to just kind of bypass those things, man. And like I said, they loop back around and they got friends and cousins when you come back to them the next time, they're not going to be as easy to get by.
Wow.
That makes sense.
So, what do you think your wife wouldn't want you to know?
Why you asking me?
I'm asking both of y'all. What do you think your wife wouldn't want you to know?
I don't want to answer.
You don't.
I think the only thing she wouldn't want me to know is how she actually felt about somebody before me.
Oh wow.
I think that's the only thing she would be. I think that'll be something she'll take to her grave with her.
Boy. Because do some things need to be taken to the grave?
Well, it's funny.
Absolutely.
It's funny, and you're right, because I used to ask my wife all kind of questions, and she would answer every one of them. And I asked her one time, she said, "Well, yeah, this is not." And then my feelings were hurt, and I thought maybe
you need to stop answering.
Maybe that's
don't ask. No pussy.
If you don't want to know, don't ask.
But that's a serious thing. And if you found out that your spouse was keeping something from you, and they ended up telling you, and you decide, you know what, I would have been better off not even knowing that.
I remember I was watching. We was at work, so I'm gonna say I was watching TV at home.
Okay.
And they had showed this guy that was being beheaded.
Oh wow.
And I never forget, I was watching, and when I saw it, I thought, you know what? I probably shouldn't have watched that.
Yes, some things.
And some things we want to know and see, but believe me, we don't need nobody. We don't need to know about and see everything.
What about sexual past?
We don't need to know about and see everything. No. Let's listen. If they got to you, I think that's Now, if you got their name tattooed on their back or something, then that's a different thing.
Okay.
I just heard that the other day. This guy had this woman had this guy's tattoo on her back because she said he gave me my child and I'll always be in love with him for that. And she wondered why the guy she's with wouldn't marry her, and he said she got to get that removed, and she's like, I don't see what the big deal is.
Yeah. It's time to move on.
Well, all right, brother.
Do you not? She don't.
Some things don't even worth the conversation. Sometimes when you say, you know what, y'all go ahead on. I'm gonna pray for y'all. Y'all go ahead on.
I saw a video the other day, and it came up in a conversation between this guy and his girlfriend. It came up in this conversation. Had he participated in multiple guys having sex with one girl at the same time. We know what this called, right?
Yeah.
And right. And he said he had.
Yeah.
That's not good.
Well, not it gets better. Hold on.
So then he asked her, had she participated?
Oh no.
And she said
yes.
And she liked it. Wait, because remember, he said he liked it as well. He
was like he had fun.
He said yes.
He said he had fun.
And she said, me too.
Now I'm gonna be messy. I personally believe that she really didn't do that, but she had to make him feel like a hero.
You know, you might be right. That's right.
That's from experience of being around certain people. Not that I did that, but being around.
But see, Tony, and I think you bring about a really good point. But I'm gonna ask this though. That ain't a conversation. That's not an everyday relationship conversation. Say,
no, sir. But for him to bring that up, that's right. It's not.
Sarah says, "Sweetheart, I love you more than anything on this earth."
What I gotta do with it?
But if you tell me stuff like that,
you go we talk about the three,
right?
You know, I love you. I didn't know where it came from.
You gonna break something?
But no, and I mean, I personally, I had to come clean because playing basketball for as long as I had, being in my hometown, marrying a girl.
Oh, you was a baller.
Yes.
Oh, Tony about 6. Tony was 6'7", 6'5".
6'8". So
6'8". Oh wow.
I'm 6'2", so I know he got to be. What? What y'all laughing at? What's the Kiki kid about? What's going on right there? What's the Kiki kid?
When I got married, I came totally clean and told her, look, there's a past that you don't hear about because we in my hometown. And to put it in perspective, I was preaching. And I had been preaching for like 5 years at this point. And I'm up preaching, and my wife is sitting in the audience with another preacher's wife, and two girls in front of her are talking about me.
Oh.
And they didn't know that she was behind them.
Wow.
So me telling her up front helped her to understand that all that stuff you hearing out there, I didn't do. I confess and admit to what I did do, but I ain't gonna admit to nothing I didn't do. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's why I say sometimes it's better to get it out there in the open than keep it behind closed doors.
So, quick question: Is transparency? Is it more about respect or is it about equality?
Equality.
It's about equality. What you say?
He said equality. I'm gonna say respect.
Okay, why you say respect?
Ask him why he said equality.
Okay, Tony, why you say equality? Give me time to come up with an example.
Believe it or not, I said equality because if I disclose everything up front, this disables or takes the guards down from it becoming relevant later.
Okay, so you rob it of the power to destroy something good. I like that.
Exactly.
All right, we ready for you now, sir?
So respect. I think it's respect because if I'm showing and giving you my heart, showing you my heart, I think you respectfully should do the same thing. Give me back what I'm giving you.
Right.
I think oftentimes what we find is when if I'm giving my heart and you not reciprocating, it makes it difficult in a relationship. The only way we can get past certain things, we have to be truthful at the beginning of it. I think to be honest, man, I think it's a lot easier to be truthful and respectful at the beginning than it is once we enter the relationship. Because we can jump off this thing at the beginning, but once we're going, we can't get off the ride as quickly as we can at the beginning of it.
Yeah. Yeah, the investment.
Yes, it's already done.
Yeah.
Now, were each one of you military?
Yeah, Marines.
Okay. So you basically went through that athletic pass.
Yeah.
Seriousness.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we can identify with the same situations in many ways. And that there's no disrespect to you, Derek, but
oh no, I'm good.
But us disclosing things up front makes it easier for us to get through a whole lot of what we call landmines that come up later.
Landmines.
I lost some legs along the way.
I can't feel my legs. little kicking real fast. Yeah. For all you movie buffs out there, I know y'all enjoy them. Yeah. Right. Major Playing was one of the greatest movies, I gotta say. So what damage have you seen that came from being too honest? Or too little?
Well, see, let me say this. The only damage that I know of from being too honest is when you talked about your past. When you're too free with talking about how you, most of the time it's women or guys, we talk about how free you were with how loose you were back in the day. I just think even with that, there need to be safeguards of what and how much you tell. I think with anybody, I think nobody needs, when asked, I think the correct question is no more than 3. It should be for everybody. But I see you with 3 people, no more than 3. But it was 3 people yesterday, no more than 3.
So if they say 3, is it safe to assume it's probably?
Because there's nothing good from him or her gonna come from you knowing that they've been with a slew of people. There's not. Oh no.
So now people start to really defend this whole body count. You know what I'm saying? And it's that whole situation, which is one of the secrets of some of the lies that people tell when it's starting to come about the whole body count thing.
Sometimes you just need to cut that thing off. You need to tear that clicker up. Just throw that away, bro. Don't even count no more, bro. It's not gonna be good for nobody.
Right. It's best to just leave it at a non-disclosed number.
3.
I know. When I say non-disclosed, I mean non-disclosed. That means it don't matter. There ain't no number. Because when you start giving a number, then you got to hear that number, and I don't want to hear the number.
So how many people would you have to have slept with for you to say, you know what, I just need to move?
Say that again.
Because how many people would you have had to sleep with
in the town
for you to in the right where you from for you to say, you know what, if I'm gonna have a serious relationship, I just need to move?
But see, and that's
hey, y'all let me know in the comments. Y'all, what's y'all number 2? How many people would you have had to sleep with?
But that's why,
in order for you to say, you know what, if I'm gonna have a serious relationship with somebody, I need to just leave the town.
I didn't want nobody that was where I was from, and I wanted somebody that was from somewhere else, because I didn't want to be crossing paths with nobody with her past. Because people fun, everybody got something slick to say.
Yeah, old cola.
Boy, I'm finna tear the place up.
Old cola.
Oh man, who cola? That's what we used to call back in the day. What? I'm finna kill you. Right. We finna tear up church and chicken. We finna tear church and chicken up. That's when you're gonna run into him. It's gonna be somewhere crazy like that. Crazy like that.
Yeah, because somebody gonna go too far. Let me get Cheryl. Cheryl says sometimes being too honest gives too much ammunition to be brought back up later. That is a great point.
Women will bring it back.
That is a great point.
Is she a Gemini?
I got
what I know. You be talking to the sweet with it, all of a sudden you come back and say, "Wait a minute."
So what's your number, Tony? Before you need to move, what's the number?
Bro, my number was too.
What number where you got to say, you know what? I just need to move. I need a fresh start. I need to go somewhere where nobody knows me.
See, this is the thing. Now, Tony, before you give your number, let me give mine. Let me get this. Let me put this out here. I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say 3. Now you say, well, wow, DFW got 6 million people. Yeah. I know. Everybody know everybody.
Yeah.
And so if I'm in the community and wherever I have grown up and started doing that, I gotta move somewhere. If it's 3 people, if it's at least 3 people, because everybody know everybody. And again, I was in California, and I'm from Dallas, and I met somebody that knew people that I knew in California. In California, man.
Oh wow.
So can you imagine being in the city where everybody know everybody? I'm gonna stick to 3.
You stick to 3 dollars. You gotta go.
$40 is my first date spending, and 3 people is all I've ever slept with. Is 3 people. 3 people.
Because it does make a difference. It does matter, because if people are saying things, because it's like you don't know what's gonna come up to in your wife or your spouse is there, and they can hear something, and you didn't tell them. You didn't, you know what I'm saying? You didn't
people talk more than they do anything else.
Oh man, so
people talk more than they do, maybe more than they do.
Do you need to remove yourself from that environment to where it's likely
you do need to move? I think if you grew up in a place,
yeah,
I think you need to move from there anyway. I don't think nobody should stay in a place that they grew up in. I think you should move across town. I think you should move across town. But you shouldn't be in the place. Let's say if I grew up in Garland, I shouldn't stay in Garland, because there's a pretty good chance I have been around in Garland. There's a pretty good chance I've been around Oak Cliff. There's a pretty good chance wherever I grew up at, I've been around in that. 3 times.
You on this 3 pretty hard.
That's it for me. 3.
That number 3 is a good number.
3 is a good number. So you can't listen.
But
because if it was 5, now I'm looking at you sideways. What?
But see, I spent 40 years in my hometown.
Man, I know. What you say your number was again?
He wouldn't give a number. He didn't.
It's a body count that's very, very difficult to define in my hometown.
Oh wow, because you was a baller.
Yeah, but see, the problem is being a baller, your body count goes nationwide.
Oh.
See, I'm like
the nation.
Back up on what put
when I moved here,
evangelistic down in this thing. What?
I was scared when I moved here.
You was scared. He said he was scared when he moved here.
I walk around like this. My head stayed.
All right. So one final question. How do you know if you're keeping a secret to protect them or to protect yourself? How do you determine whether you're doing it to protect them or protect yourself?
When you sweating.
You're right about that.
He said when you sweating.
Right about that. And you're more concerned about how you're gonna be perceived, rather than how they're gonna feel about it.
Their perception changing of you.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
If you tell it. Yeah.
Wow.
And it's funny because we care about what people think about us. Especially the people closest to us. We want people to think highly of us. So we definitely not gonna do or say anything that's gonna make people think, oh, that fool out there just wilding, or he'll do anything. Oh, I can't believe you did that. You got kids everywhere. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Which one are you more concerned about? You more concerned about your spouse or your kid? Let me get Cheryl real quick. Cheryl says
she should have said that.
Nationwide. hold on. Let me do this right. Let me do this right. Nationwide is your side. I had to do it right because I know that's what she had in her spirit.
I know yeah, so, that's a bad.
Oh man, I forgot my question now. It'll come back to it. But needless to say, there are definitely things that we take into consideration before we actually share with our spouses. If it's something stressful, and the spouse doesn't handle stress well, you may be tempted to go ahead and not tell the information. But what if you're suffering under the secret?
You probably need to say something.
You probably need to say something. Not necessarily. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. Like you can sleep with somebody. What I'm saying, especially like on the financial.
And you when you tell them, you say, I was talking to you say my friend was telling me about him. You always make it somebody else.
Just to see how they feel about the scenario first.
Say, my friend was telling me if she go off, say, whoo, glad it was my friend. Glad it was my friend. It wasn't me. He'd be tripping.
I like that.
You're crazy.
Use that one.
But no, this I think this is one. We talk about, do you really have to tell your spouse everything? So are we saying that it's a case by case basis? Are we saying yes, you do?
I think you got to take case by case. I think depending on the situation, I think it would be good to. And Tony, you jump in if you think I'm wrong. I think it'd be good if you could use a blanket statement to say, yeah, I need to tell her about everything, but I think everything needs to be taken on a case by case basis.
No, I agree. Because you know your spouse well enough to know how they're gonna handle specific.
Yeah.
There are certain things that I wouldn't care what was going on. I ain't gonna tell her at that time. Now I may tell her after the situation diminishes or after we leave that situation, but I won't tell her while I'm in that situation.
Yeah.
Because it could present a bigger problem.
But what if you can't come out that situation without her help? Or what if you struggle in that situation way too long, but she could have given you something that could have helped you out?
I agree. That and see that goes back to that case by case, but it also goes back to that using your judgment wisely.
Right.
Because you can blow it sometimes, and we have blown it by not telling sometimes in that case by case situation where we should have said, I wish I had said something sooner.
So yeah.
So it can go either way.
Yeah. That's good, man. That's good. Well, we've come down to the end. So now we're going to have final thoughts. So we'll go with you first, Mr. Tony. Big Tony, what you want to lead the people with?
Be wise in what's good and what's not good to tell. Be prayerful, be mindful, and be thankful in what you do. Don't let it get out of hand by not telling what should be told. That's the easiest way to put it.
All right, well, my final thought for this evening is, don't you say a word. You take that to the grave. Don't you open your mouth. The problem now with everybody, people got to tell everything. Back in the day, they used to have secrets and keep secrets. People didn't know how much money grandmama had in the TV, and nobody cared how much money grandma had in the TV. Now everybody telling everything. Take that to everything don't need to come out. Take that to the grave with you. And that unless you got to tell it. That's my final thought.
And I hope I get this quote right. I think my wife knows it, so she might know if I get it right or not. You're only as sick as your secrets.
That's right. That's the quote.
So when you talk about the health of your relationship, are we just medicating? Or are we actually trying to have a healthy relationship? First off, you want to definitely get with somebody who is more in more aligned with you. Not to say they're exactly how you are, but y'all know each other and respect who each other is and know that you are for each other. That means if the person feels a certain way about some kind of information, they at least feel like, I know if I tell them, they're going to care enough about me to at least deal with it in a good way. They may not be, what I'm saying, they may not come across all that good right up front, but at least down the line, I know they're going to look at it and say, my care for them outweighs this whole thing to begin with. So be wise in your decision whether to tell or to hold information. But at some point, that has to be a talk, or at least the air has to be to where you can have conversations where, you can air some of this stuff out, because you don't want to keep it in, because it could be detrimental to your relationship and your health. And that's my final thought.
Y'all remember, loose lips sink ships. When you doing your dirt, you better do it with somebody you can trust. Loose lips sink ships.
Hey, man.
Snitches get stitches.
No, I'm kidding. You better tell him.
So you've been warned.
You better tell them.
Listen, we appreciate everybody hopping on and checking us out tonight. Don't forget, go ahead and subscribe to the podcast. Share it out to all your family and friends. And we're going to keep bringing you good content like this. We want to thank Mr. Big Tony for stepping in and having this conversation with us. We definitely appreciate you, brother.
Appreciate you, Tony.
Everybody, we're going to see y'all next time. Peace out. Y'all be good.